I wanted to share with you a really wild dream that I had 2 nights in a row. Usually, if I have a dream multiple nights, boy, that is a serious message. And it's also, sometimes it's because the first night I didn't get the message. So the dream was so bizarre because I was working with a group and we were doing our best to avoid getting bitten by zombies. Now, I don't watch anything like Walking Dead or any of those shows, so it's not like there was something that was, like subconsciously working, right? And it was just freaking bizarre. It was just, and I'm running around, the group was moving locations, if you will, but it felt like we had a path and a plan, and it was like these zombies were just trying to get at us and eat us, and we still were just doing our best not to get eaten by the zombies and continue on our path. That was the first night, but I woke up like, what the hell was that? And I'm like sitting with it, and it wasn't like it was a nightmare, which was also weird, right? Like if you see flesh-eating zombies and things like that, you would think that I would have woken up with a start and been like, oh my God, like, like this is a nightmare. What is this? But it wasn't like that. And I really wasn't sure, what is this message? It just didn't make any sense. Well, then last night, I go right back into the dream, and I am still working with the group. And there was a woman that I saw that was she was alone, and she was kind of lost, and she was like stumbling around this bush, and it was dark out, and she was just looking for assistance. And so I told her, I walked up to her, I said, come with us. And she said, I've been bitten. And I'm like, look, I was like, you're gonna crave something. You're gonna want to fill that hole within you. But you have a choice. You can fill it with human flesh, or you can fill it with better things for you. And I handed her an apple. So isn't that some interesting symbolism? And I said, but there's meditation, there's purpose, there's so many things that you can fill that craving with other than human flesh. And so she joined our group, and we were continuing on. Now, another part that was new in this segment of the dream was that there would just be these moments where I would get really tired, and I would go to the end of the game, as if this whole zombie thing was nothing more than a game. And I would go to the end of the game. I would sit down and I would bask in the energies. And they were very much the energies that I have been working with. I worked with them in France. It's Mary Magdalene. It's Mother Mary. It's Jesus. It's that energy of the ascended masters, of the place where nothing needs to be fixed. Everything is done, and it's all perfect. It's that place. It's that energy. And I would sit in that energy, and then I would be like, okay, I can go back in. And I would go back in, and I would continue leading. And now all around, it was still the avoiding, the evading of these flesh-eating zombies. And I cut that one off because my little dog is insane. So anyway, so there's all this, movement and energy, where this grouping that I was with, and it was a large grouping, was moving forward. But around were all these flesh-eating zombies that we were avoiding and trying not to get eaten by. But at any moment, you could pop into the space of, it's all perfect. And it's like, it's the end of the game. It's the place where, as if you're playing a video game, right? It's that place where the game's over. It doesn't actually matter. And you can sit in those energies, and you can rest, and you can feel yourself. And I think that's a very, very important message for all of us, that, this journey, this time period, it's not easy. I mean, it's it's a little crazy energetically. And we need to create within ourselves that space where we can go and we can be rested and we can be filled, so that we can go and jump back in and continue leading. Because in one way or another, we're all leading people somewhere. We're all leading our family, our friends, our pets. We're leading our own lives. And so in order to have the strength to do that, we need these moments of resting in the perfection, resting in the space of it's all going to be okay. It is all okay. There is nothing that needs to be done. There's nothing that needs to be fixed, because it is absolute perfection. And when you can rest in that, even for just 5 minutes, you will then have the energy to continue on with your purpose and your role. And so, I wake up from this dream and I'm like, okay, all right, that was a significant 2 night in a row, and this one showed me a lot more. And so I started really diving into, what are the zombies? And the zombies are really all the things that we consume, that we want to gnaw at and eat to fill the void within, when the truth is the only thing that's going to fill that void within is us. It's not money, it's not a house, it's not prestige, it's not any of these things, it's not food, nothing. The only thing that's going to fill us is us. And when we look at society, we can see where it can be very dog eat dog, where people are consuming other people. And I found that to be really wild. And there was another, my ears ringing. And there was another interesting portion to the dream. And that was that there was these groups that so hated the zombies. And the zombies were really in those lower chakras, right? There is all about them and rampant sexuality, the type of sexuality that is not necessarily beneficial and shifts energy within. It's not the sacred sexuality. It's the, it's kind of the really diminishing the beautiful, incredible power that sexuality is. And that root chakra of control, that fear. That's what the zombies were operating from. And so they were consuming and hoarding and, everything like that. But the group that hated the zombies were also in the lower chakras. They feared the zombies. They feared everything that they stood for. And they were in such direct opposition of what the zombies stood for that they too were stuck. And it was a different type of stuck, but it's stuck just the same. And I thought, wow, that's really interesting watching that, And it's really that very powerful message of, what are you in direct opposition of? What are you in resistance to? What are you giving your negative attention to? Because what we resist, we know persists. It just is. And so it's really asking us to pay attention to, where are we spending our energy? Am I spending it saying, I don't want this to happen. I'm going to stop this. I do not consent. Or are we saying, there's my path. I'm walking it. I'm going to evade these zombies and I'm not going to get caught up in it. And I'm willing to take people who have gotten caught up into it, like the lady who's been bitten. Because she can fill herself at any point in time with the right things. And that right thing, and I think that's that apple, is knowledge of self. And getting to know one's self completely with nothing hidden. So I really wanted to share this message because I sure as shit didn't get it the first night. And so I needed the second night to really show me the depth of the dream and the message. And I knew by just how clear I remembered it that it was something that needed to be shared. Take care.